Hey guys, welcome to the Recalibrate You series of workshops. Today we're at episode 1 out of 4 to cover unlearning, relearning and learning for runners. My name is Eugene, I'm the captain of the Adidas Runners Singapore, and today I have with me Sophie and John.
Hi, I'm Sophie, one of the captains for Adidas Runners Singapore.
And hi, I'm Coach John.
Nice one, John. Alright, what am I going to say? Okay, cool. So we've got all sorts of different runners, right? In the community, we've got competitive runners, you've got trail runners, you've got casual runners, beginner runners, all sorts. Basically, when it comes to running community, we try to be all inclusive and cover all sorts. For me personally, I'm a night runner. I like running at night. Some people are morning. I struggle, especially those Saturday mornings where you guys see me like waking up full energy. Actually, for me, it's like I'm dying inside. I love night running. I used to really like listening with music plugged in, but nowadays, recently, more and more, I'm beginning to enjoy the joy of running just by listening to my own breath and the footsteps. Some people like running with their phones to take photos, etc. So what kind of runner are you?
So I used to be an evening runner, but I think after circuit breaker and lockdown, I actually enjoy the 6:30 a.m. runs, mainly because I try and avoid the sun. So I like the morning runs, and it's also really good because it keeps me fresh for the rest of the day. That's what I've noticed. So yeah, I mean, once in a while, the midnight runs are also good if I run with you, that is. If not, then for me, I prefer the morning runs. And I also like trail.
Nice, awesome. When I started, I used to do a lot of road running. I used to run a lot on the track as well. So for me, I guess it was a shift to trying to get into off-road running. And I went from a road runner to becoming a mountain runner. So prior to COVID, I actually did a lot of overseas races. I would go to the mountains and I would run, all over the world. And again, it was a real refreshing experience getting out of Singapore and just going to places that, it's not within your reach. You really had to work hard and bust your ass to get up there.
But I guess with the whole kind of like lockdown and not being able to travel, I think we've been able to explore different routes in Singapore and many trails that we never knew existed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Coach John loves slopes and hills. So
Same,
he's gonna,
I also love slopes and
Eugene
hills.
also loves slopes and hills. So we'll probably have more of that during our Adidas Runners sessions moving forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, so what kind of runner are you guys? As we talk throughout the rest of this session today, you guys will have a chance to ask any questions. Remember to fire your questions, Q&A, into the section below, and we'll be sure to look into them and answer them later on at the end of this session. All right, so today, like I mentioned before, we're going to be talking about unlearning, relearning, and learning, no matter what kind of runner are you. So, John, I guess, you as a coach, you've had much experience. You've seen all sorts of runners, right? From beginners to runners who try and lose weight to even like triathletes. What are some more common running mistakes you've noticed, and how can we go about rectifying them, and how can we learn from those mistakes?
Well, one of the things that I do, that is very obvious, is that a lot of people tend to run way too fast, right? They run way too fast.
That's not a problem for me. I definitely don't run way too fast, but then okay.
Yeah, and I think the first thing that we want to talk about in terms of mistakes is that I think we live in such a fast-paced society that everybody's just, I've got a fixed amount of time, I need to go and run as quickly as possible, and just hurry up and get it done. And one of it is that, and the other is also feeling the need that they need to work out hard in order to work out at all.
Yeah, that's true. I always hear people saying
true.
that, I ran today, but I didn't really perspire. Then I'm always like, dude, but when I eat chili food, spicy food, I perspire. When I'm in a sauna, I perspire. Doesn't mean I'm actually working out or doing anything. Not really, also, right? So that's an interesting point also. People feel like, I haven't perspired yet.
Yeah. So I think the first point is that people just run way too fast. I think they go out and they're always in a rush. They want to get their workout done, and they just run way too hard. And the problem with that is that your body can only handle a certain amount of stress, right? That's beneficial. And if you run way too fast, then you're going to lose the benefits and also the enjoyment in that session as well. Yeah.
How about you? What do you think about running too fast?
I don't think it's a problem for me. I never ever feel that I'm running too fast. I think the part about being able to enjoy a run is something which I'm learning. And I think I've been able to learn a lot more during this lockdown, circuit breaker, and being stuck in Singapore. So being able to enjoy a run and not being fearful of having to step out and run, because that's something which I've always struggled with right from the beginning. It's always the fear of putting on the shoes and running, right? I mean, I still have a constant love-hate relationship with running. So for me, I'm beginning to realize that I become less fearful of stepping out to run and really enjoying the run process and the journey. So yes,
Yeah.
about running too fast, it doesn't really apply to me in that sense.
I mean, I kind of remember like quite a few years back, John, like when we were discussing this topic, one of the things that you also like to say is you need to run slow to run faster.
Yeah. Yeah. So learning to run slow really builds a proper foundation, to make you a better, more efficient runner. A lot of times, I think people just want to go into the sexy, fancy workouts.
What's a sexy, fancy workout?
Well, it's like, what kind of workouts these like top runners are doing, if they are so good at running, I must be doing, I must do the same as them and then I'll get just as good.
Emulating our idols.
Yeah.
And what's the issue with that?
Well, the issue is that these guys have invested years doing longer, slower training, right, to build that foundation.
Which is not seen, right? Because they're not going to be showing it on the socials or whatever not. You don't see the slow, long, many-hour kind of runs.
Yeah.
So basically you're saying that our bodies are not yet conditioned and not built yet to be able to take that kind of intensity and that training load.
It's like you can do it maybe 1 or 2 sessions, but when you string several sessions in a row, your body will start to fall apart. And that's where, the cracks start to happen, right? And the key thing about becoming a more proficient and better runner is really consistency. You want to be consistent. You want to be able to get out there and do good quality sessions as often as possible. And if you're not built for it at that stage, you shouldn't be doing it too hard.
So what would you advise for, say, like a mid-season kind of runner that's been running for maybe a year, 2 years? What would you advise as a frequent enough, slow enjoyment run in a week, say, for example?
I think for someone who's a relatively seasoned runner, I think what you want to look at is your runs will still be your runs, right? You're still used to going out for doing maybe an hour run to 2 hours or whatever, right? But I think what we'll talk about in the later workshops as well is that we want to look at ways in which you can change the way you run, like change your running routes to challenge yourself. And the challenge needs to be progressive. You can't just straight away go to the deep end and then expect to swim, right? You gotta be progressive, you gotta learn to build yourself up, but also challenge yourself in a way that you know that you're heading in the right direction, rather than just running around in the same spot.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think 1 hour, 2 hour runs is quite intimidating lah.
But you say mid-season runner, what?
Maybe like
In my
45
mind,
minutes,
yeah.
like 50 minutes,
Okay. What else? What other common mistakes have you seen in your experience working with runners?
Yeah. So the other thing that I do see often is that when people come and I work with runners is that they often are very fixated on running distance. I need to clock a 5K run, I need to clock a 10K run, whatever, right? And one of the things that through Adidas Runners Singapore that we're big advocates from the start is really talking about just running on time, like being on your feet, right? And the reason for that, is that if you're going to run 5K uphill and 5K downhill, it's still 5K, but it's so different, right, in terms of the effort that you have to put in. So time really takes that out of the equation, where if you're going to run for 30 minutes, you're going to run for 30 minutes. And it adjusts. How far you go really is adjusted based on the terrain or the conditions that you're running in.
So you're saying that basically instead of saying, hey guys, today we're going to go out for a 10K run, it's like, 10K. What you're actually saying is that, okay, maybe instead of stressing about the distance, you're going to say, hey guys, today we're going to go on a 40-minute run.
Yes.
Right? And a 40-minute will vary the intensity, vary the terrain, and then and through the training adaptations, the distance will come along the way as we get faster and stronger.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole concept of running by time as well is really less intimidating. When I first started running, when Yuch was kind of like guiding me and mentoring me to run, it was also always by time. And it was a lot more easy to...
I learned from the best.
it was a lot easier to take in. I think even mentally and emotionally, you don't feel like I have to finish a 10K today. I have to finish like a 5K. It's just, I'm going to run 30 minutes and it's at my own time. So I think the time thing that we are taking on with AR is a good move in its sense.
Yeah. And I think it's also especially important on days that you may not feel so great.
Yeah.
And you know that, your body, you're not really up to it. And maybe all you can manage is 3K in 30 minutes, who knows, right? But it's that important that in that 30 minutes you do the 3K rather than you push yourself to run the 5K that you're scheduled for in like 50 minutes or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that I've noticed, right, is that runners also tend to shy away from this word, or rather two words, strength training. So more often than not, you hear runners talking about, oh, I ran this mileage today, I ran that, or I did a tempo run, or I did my long run, my recovery run, but you never ever hear them saying, today I did a strength session.
Yeah.
So why is this so important? And why do you think runners, right, have always trying to avoid these strength sessions?
Well, yeah, the slopes are scary. Slopes are intimidating. But I guess at AR, when we introduced it into the program, we wanted to make slopes our friend, right? We wanted to look at it.
You're
and say,
biased, it's because you like slopes, both of you. That's why.
But I mean, like when we first started, people would struggle, right? And I
People
think
still struggle,
yeah,
John.
they
What do you
still struggle.
mean?
But I think the cool thing is that you see how, through their perseverance, through their being determined to stick with the sessions and get through it, you do see like some of them after, like when we go full circle, right, a year later, we go back and revisit that route, right, and they go there and say, wow, a year later, I'm running these slopes like way much more comfortably than I was before, and the benefits of strength is that, again, the stronger you are, strength is the secret to, is like speed in disguise. You want to become a faster, more
Speed in
efficient.
Guys,
disguise.
just remember,
Very important.
strength is speed in disguise, quote unquote, Coach John.
John,
Yeah.
We need to put that up here somewhere. Guys, can we? Strength is speed in disguise.
Yeah. So if you want to make running a lot easier, you want to become more efficient, you want to be able to run faster, strength. You need to go out there, you need to get on the slopes, you need to get strong.
I think one of the other reasons why runners
Good
tend
tip.
to shy away from strength work is because they think of strength work, right? They in their mind they see like Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're gonna lift heavy weights and they come out like bulked up, and they're thinking to myself, I don't want to be carrying so much weight when I'm going to be running, especially if it's not a sprinter but rather more like a long distance endurance runner. They're afraid to be carrying on the extra mass or the bulk that gets in their way, and they'll be all like this. So I think that's another stigma in runners' minds about strength training. But not all strength training has to be about building muscle bulk, right?
Yeah. I think strength is also important because, we all get injured, right? And injuries happen because our bodies are not strong enough to support ourselves, right? Due to the amount of training stress that we have, or running too fast. So the way that we condition our body actually makes us injury proof as well. So by being consistent, and this is really doing, running functionally so that you can actually build those running muscles that can support you when you run.
so essentially, the strength portion is also very crucial for preventive measures for like injuries and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to be able to run for the rest of your life, definitely having to
Run for the
incorporate.
rest of your life.
Yeah. Even when you're 80, 90, you wanna be able to develop your strength early, be conditioned, and then from there, it's just going to carry you through.
I think also one of the issues with strength training and why people have a stigma with it, right, especially like runners in general, I think, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, is because it's psychologically challenging and more difficult to suddenly basically have your heart rate go up in a much shorter period of time doing, say, for example, squats or like burpees or whatnot, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. No?
I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess, it's a little bit different. Like, runners don't like to do static exercises.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because of the very nature of the word static.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then, people that do static exercises don't really like to run. So, but there's a merge between the two.
Correct.
Where, I think that's, again, if you go to slopes and you run on slopes, it's functional, right? And you get to train yourself in the environment that you're going to be, looking to become a stronger runner in. But I think also incorporating, like we do in our sessions, like static workouts while you run is also important.
How will you do that? Like, what do you mean?
Like we go out for, like when we do some of our runs, we go out and let's say if it's a flat route, like you stay in somewhere that there are no hills. It does not mean you cannot do a strength run, right? You can go out and do a run, and then every maybe 5 to 10 minutes or maybe 10 minutes, you'll stop and then you start to do some squats, you do some burpees.
So that's what I always do for my AR sessions.
Build up a little bit of lactic acid,
Like
and then
in
after that
between.
you go and then you jog to recover to the next 10 minutes, and then after that you do another strength exercise.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up this session, I'd like to touch on the last one also. I think we haven't touched on running form, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of running form, all sorts. People looking to the sky, talking to the birds, shoulders hunched over, arms all over the place. I'm sure you've seen all sorts. Why is running form, or correct running form rather, so important? And it's one of the trickiest things also to correct, right? Because you can't see yourself in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, running form, it's all about running efficiency. You know, if you're not an efficient runner, you're just going to do a lot more work out there, and you're also going to run a higher risk of just getting injured, right? Especially if you're one that's looking to like, oh, if I'm just running once a week, maybe it's not going to really add up to anything. But if you're really focused and determined to become a consistent runner, that's going to add up eventually, right?
Yeah.
So habits are very important, and developing good habits is something that you want to really, you know, nip it in the bud early on, and then have that, you know, just put it to practice, you know, so it becomes second nature. Yeah. So in terms of running technique, I think one of the key things is posture, first and foremost. It's not even about running in your gait. It's just the way you carry
Everyone
yourself.
suddenly sit up. When you say posture, everyone just like suddenly sit up.
Yeah, and this is something that you know, when I go out and I run, one of the things that I do to kind of like, you know, pass the time is I actually go out and when I'm running and I see other people running, I'm actually so-called observing and critiquing in my mind how the people that are running by me are running, you know, and that's a great way for me to remind myself as well, oh, this person is doing this, am I doing that, or am I doing what's right and beneficial for me to improve on my running form and technique? Yeah, so I think in terms of running form and posture, something that we see very often is that people tend to, you know, when they're tired, they either look down at the ground or they look up at the sky. Like you mentioned earlier, they're like praying, okay? And I think one of the things is that you want to look, actually, the ideal recommendation for running form and gait, like how to have your hilt tip, is to actually look about 30 to 40 meters at the ground in front of you. That means you're not looking straight ahead, you're actually looking slightly down and having your chin slightly down, you know, because if you look too high up, what happens? It puts the whole back, right, and you start sitting backwards, which is not ideal. If you tip your head forward, you look straight at the ground and your feet, then you're going to lean too far forward as well, which is not ideal. Yeah, so that's like one of the first things that I often pick up on people doing. Yeah.
So do you have anything, you know, like as someone who's just started running, like, I don't know, the last 7 years or so, was posture something that you always had struggled with, or like something that always was at the top of your mind when you first started running?
I think for me, it was never top of my mind. So in that sense, when I think awareness is like the first level. If I don't even know that I need to have a proper running form, to me, I would just run however that my body is telling me to run, right? Which Huge is always like nagging at me because I'm always sitting.
Yeah.
And
Nagging.
therefore, it is very difficult when I take pictures also when I'm running, because I'm giving like the team a very hard time because I always look like I'm not doing a correct running form, which I'm not. So I think the basic awareness has to be there for runners that are starting to run, knowing and understanding what the need to have a proper running form. So I think to answer your question, no, it has never been on the top of my mind. The only reason why it's at the top of my mind is because Eugene is constantly talking about it and how it affects like my running in that sense.
Yeah.
One of the things I used to tell Soph also is that it also helps when you run past, when you're running on, especially with urban running, right?
Yeah.
A lot of glass windows, mirrors.
Yeah.
Keep watching
So
yourself,
you
right?
run past and like, you look like you're being vain and checking yourself out, right? But really checking to see if your shoulders are back, looking forward, you know, slide forward, lean, and just checking your posture constantly, because it's all about constant reinforcement.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, one of the tips or recommendations is that you want to connect with people that can run with you and also share with you, you know, give you
like honest
feedback, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're running terribly. This is what you're doing wrong. Try to work on that.
Yeah.
You know, and this is something that even through AR, right? AR Singapore and our crew, we kind of like taught them how to look out for each other, right?
Yeah.
And for the people that they lead as
like
well,
it's
right?
the importance of mentoring and guiding.
Yeah. So these are like easy wins. Like, I mean, it's not easy because you have to put it to practice, but the moment you get it right, it's with you for life again, right? And you don't have to think so much about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. I guess that kind of wraps up our first session. Just to close up in summary, you know, I think we can sum it all up with these points by saying that it's important to develop a training plan, to structure your training around having someone like a mentor to be able to guide you, or a coach to be able to guide you with your training form, and making sure you have the right training volume. Remember,
don't run too fast.
Yep, not running too fast.
Yeah.
Enjoy the runs.
Enjoying the runs. Strength training.
Yeah.
What else?
Hills are your friends. Hills are your friends.
And what was the tagline he said?
Strength is speed in
Strength is
disguise.
speed
Strength
in
is speed in
disguise.
disguise. Yeah,
We will
that's right.
end off on that note.
All right. So, thank you for joining us for today's session. We'll have another 3 more to come, where we'll dive deeper into some of these points that we discussed today.
Yeah.
But last point to remember, if you guys have any further questions, just drop them to the Q&A section and we'll try our best to answer them right after this. Thank you very much.